How does sponsorship help Zebec and Uphold as a pair partnership connect with everyday people and SMEs across the US?
Well, I think it's incredibly exciting. I mean, what's happening in the US is extraordinary. In the space of 9 months, the full weight of the US administration has been thrown behind crypto. And therefore, we're, in the era of mass adoption, we reckon that about between 30 and 50 million Americans are going to buy crypto for the first time over the next 12 months.
Everybody's talking about blockchain and stablecoins. I left my house in San Francisco. On the way to the airport, I saw not one, but two billboards about stablecoins.
Oh, that's great. Here in Frankfurt, right?
No, in San Francisco.
Both sides. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a few of them here too.
Yeah. The trip started with blockchain everywhere, and that's how it's going. And obviously all the big companies are here, the small companies are here, and everybody's talking about stablecoins.
How have you seen institutions change recently in how they engage with you?
Well, look, I mean, these days the question isn't should we do something with crypto or stablecoins? It's how do we do it and what do we do?
A lot of exciting news to come between Zebec and Stellar, I guess, over the next couple of weeks. I mean, we've been working together now for years, but we're about to take this partnership to the next level, which we're very excited about.
So Zebec and Uphold will be working with 6 teams across professional hockey and basketball this year. You're going to see activations throughout the stadiums and on TV for over 30 million viewers at home as well. This is going to give both of our brands unprecedented reach during a time when Americans are more interested in crypto-based solutions than they've ever been.
Zebec being one of my biggest holdings, and also Tau, good to see them actually performing in the midst of the Red Sea. So we did get a tweet by President Trump a little bit earlier where he was talking about the tension between China and the US, basically him and Z, right, not being able to come together about this negotiation, right? And he plans on implementing even more tariffs on China, and that's really starting to affect the market. Bitcoin now under 120k. I talked about this in my live stream earlier on how if Bitcoin continues to be under that threshold of the ultimate RSI, the 30% bullish correction is still in play. And we've been kind of like playing around with that line of momentum, and things like this can really kind of dampen the market in the midst of a government shutdown. Now, we know the government shutdown really doesn't affect the markets, but when you couple that with the bearish news and tension between two countries, that can really start to affect people's mindset with investing, right? Because then they become more risk off opposed to risk on. So good to see our cryptocurrencies doing well. If you haven't been following my channel, I've been talking about ZBCN for months now, almost a half a year, maybe a year, and we did print a buy signal towards the end of September. So what we're doing is we're just anticipating that Zebec here does break above price discovery, which would be all-time highs, and sets in some confirmation candles above this green line, which would confirm a run into a new all-time high, which you really want right now. This is amazing strength that we are seeing from Zebec, seeing that Solana has struggled a bit, right? The Solana ecosystem took a little bit of a hit from Binance because a lot of the Solana degens were rotating into the Binance meme coins, and some of that liquidity left Solana into Binance. But the thing about Zebec is Zebec just got listed on Kraken. They actually got listed on like 2 or 3 exchanges within the last 48 hours. It's been crazy. And as you've seen from the video earlier, they have a partnership with Uphold where they'll be doing a little bit of marketing. So they'll be able to, the previous years we've seen crypto.com all over the basketball floors, all over UFC. You're kind of going to get that same thing from Zebec now. Zebec ads and advertising will be live during NBA games and various sports. So this is actually bullish for the marketing aspect and the exposure for Zebec, right? Zebec is a blockchain, right, that's helping ushering crypto payment integration. So this is actually huge, right? Because a lot of people, they don't really know about Zebec, but once you see this marketing is going to be implemented into your mind, and then you want to go out there and do the research. So Zebec is doing the right thing by expanding US, Asia, Europe. They're really getting their technology out there, and I like to see that from a cryptocurrency that I'm personally holding. So nothing changed from my theory and my thesis on Zebec. I think that the move will continue. The only thing that can really stop this move right now is the macro. You can see that we did get back above the orange line, and the whole time that Zebec was under this orange line, if you weren't already allocated or if you were looking to DCA, if you bought the tops, it was a great time to really add to your bag. The payment niche isn't going anywhere, and what they're doing is they're implementing, right, RWA flows and tokenizing, streaming real world assets like salaries, contracts, and more. So we always talk about payroll, but we don't talk about stuff like salaries, contracts. Guys, all of that's payroll, right? Payroll doesn't just stop at 9 to 5 or just regular jobs because we think about ADP. We're not, I haven't seen too many people talk about this aspect of Zebec, how it's attacking this niche, salaries, contracts. Like, it's just a very, very, very broad narrative, and it's a lot of liquidity parked inside this narrative, and Zebec is the one disrupting it. So it doesn't really have any competitors beside the competitors that we see in Web 2. So this is why I am insanely bullish on this project. The thing that's going to kind of slow us down right now is the Total 3. Total 3 just printed a sell signal. So whatever's going on in the macro is starting to affect stocks, gold, silver, and then you see the Bitcoin dominance here starting to trend back to the upside. Now, I wouldn't be too concerned unless these moving averages start trending to the upside, but because they're trending to the downside, there is a world where the Bitcoin dominance gets rejected here at these moving averages, and we can continue to see movement from altcoins. Right now Bitcoin dominance says 59. We don't want to see it start to push back above 60, but our threshold is 60.93 and 61.46. So as long as we can stay below these moving averages, I expect altcoins to go higher. It's important to note that a lot of people are looking at the historical data when it comes to Bitcoin, and if you look at the historical cycles, technically this, based on the numbers of previous cycles, this is supposed to be the top, right? So anybody that believes in 4-year cycles and they're saying they're getting out the market or they're selling, there's nothing wrong with that take, just because when you look at everything from a historical data standpoint, this is around the time the markets top out, right? Q4, about 530 days in from the halving. So if we just go and back test this, post the halving price peak in 2017 was 518 days. 2020 was 546 days. And then here we're about 532 days in, which is crazy because if you add these two up and divide it by 2, you get around 532 days, which is 76 bars. So some people are just going specifically off the 4-year cycle, and they're saying, well, technically, Millie, this somewhere in between the next couple months supposedly be the top. I can't time it, no one knows, so I'll just take my profits and move on here. That's what's happening in the market, because some people believe that honestly this is the top of the market. Now, I don't believe that because of seasonality, because we're at the end of this Fed cycle, which means the Fed could possibly pivot into a cycle where they're easing and printing opposed to making it restrictive. So you're taking a risk leaving now, but it is understandable for anybody that's saying, hey, I made my gains from Bitcoin 15K. Millie, I want to believe we're in the super cycle. I want to believe we're in the 5-year cycle, but I'm going to just take my chips off the table. I don't think nothing's wrong with that. I don't think those people should be judged or anything. Now, from an infrastructure standpoint, you're seeing all of this, every day we get bullish news of something being integrated in crypto. And the elephant in the room here, as you would see from the video with, the partnership with ZBCN and Stellar, is stablecoins. Stablecoins are literally going to be everywhere, right? Stablecoins need infrastructure to be utilized in a payment form. And that's where Zebec is implanted and fits perfectly, because everybody is integrating ZBCN. Just like back in the day, people were saying everybody was integrating, all the banks were integrating XRP. Well, now all these cryptos, if you need crypto cards, if you need cards that can be utilized in real worlds, people will be using Zebec. If you want to tokenize your contract, your salary, people will be using Zebec. All of these payroll companies that want to be able to pay instantly in stable coins, they will have to use Zebec. They can't go around using Zebec. So Zebec kind of implemented itself as the go-to infrastructure play for blockchain payments, for payments on the blockchain. So if you're investing in Zebec, you're investing in something that's implanted in a narrative that you cannot ignore, that you would not want to be a part of, right? Because paying people, that's just something that's going to continue until we leave this earth. After we leave this earth, people still got to get paid. And now we're being ushered into a era where payments won't be, based on just decentralized companies or based on the bank. And you don't have to wait 2 weeks. Who wants to continue to wait 2 weeks? Who wants to wait 1 month for their salary, right? Now you'll be able to get paid by the second, by the hour, however you want to get paid. You can determine how you get paid utilizing Zebec technology. So I like where it sits. I think that this project is going to be massive. Again, RWA flows, tokenizing and streaming real world assets like salaries, contracts. I mean, sky's the limit and more. Sky's the limit. So guys, let me know what you think about Zebec. Let me know what you think about the market, the macro, because all of this stuff is going to affect. But like, if you believe that we're going to have an altcoin season, this is one of the projects I feel comfortable with holding in the belief that at some point the Fed starts printing and we get an altcoin season retail returns. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about Zebec. It's your boy Crypto Millie. I'll see you in the next one.